Well, this isn't in the script, but I have to say how many people were sad to give it that Eagle beverage or that amazing brownie before they came in here. Really, we can't bring the brownies in. Good evening, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the Fox Theater and the 2014 Alumni Awards. My name is Lisa Pawlowski, and I am the Director of Alumni here at Eastern Washington. And I'm going on my 9th year. I am so honored to be the Alumni Director. That wasn't scripted. And as my daughter would say, wowzers, Mom. We are so honored to be here tonight celebrating some amazing individuals. Like the awards themselves, tonight is about inspiration, hard work, service, sacrifice, commitment, and tonight we celebrate individuals and organizations that really match those exact values. And we are so proud to call them all Eagles.
In the spirit of celebration and gratitude, tonight's event is a true gala, honoring an esteemed group of alumni. This group represents community advocates, educators, engineers, scientists, a retired colonel, committed mentors, and organizations who are continually enhancing our communities. Nominations took place last November, and in March, a committee of volunteers reviewed the nominations and selected this year's winners. Thank you to the committee for the time, energy, and careful consideration they gave to each nominee. You can imagine how difficult it was for them, given how qualified every nominee was. Also, please join me in a special thank you to our title sponsor for this evening's event, Numerica Credit Union. We really appreciate your commitment to Eastern, to our students, and to our alumni. Thank you so much.
On behalf of Eastern Washington University and the Alumni Association, again, we welcome you and we hope you enjoy this very, very special evening.
Hold on, before we get started, if we're going to make this a true, awesome award ceremony, we're going to kick it off with a selfie with our audience, right?
Oh, yes. If you haven't met Cassie Devaney, she is the Associate Director of Alumni, and she's somewhat, if you know her, a social media freak, as I'd like to say. So we really don't have a choice, honestly. She's going to be tweeting and Facebooking. I'm not a social media freak the whole night.
Follow us at EWU Alumni on Facebook and Twitter.
Okay, smile.
Good evening. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Jason Pape, Department Chair and Professor of Military Science at Eastern Washington University.
And I'm Mark Antonetti, Eastern Washington University grad and alumni board member.
You gotta tell me, Mark, what does it mean to be a board member? Because, I mean, are you getting paid for this? Because I'm not getting paid for this.
No, I'm actually a volunteer, and there are 23 of us throughout the Pacific Northwest. We even have a board member in Arizona. Many of us are here tonight to celebrate and appreciate these wonderful alumni award winners we have here.
That's great. If we could, let's have all the board members in the audience stand up so that we can see who you are, please. Thanks. I'm excited to be up here kicking off this wonderful event with this year's recipient of the Military Service Award. This award recognizes alumni who contribute significantly throughout their military service. Alumni who receive this award are currently serving on active duty, in the Reserves or National Guard, or have served honorably within the armed forces. They demonstrate outstanding leadership and exemplify meritorious service within their organizations and throughout their careers. and they are active in the support of military families, their dependents, and other service members.
Eastern has a long tradition of supporting military personnel and their families. We've been recognized several years in a row as a military-friendly school, and 2 years ago, EWU opened the largest Veterans Resource Center in the Pacific Northwest. So needless to say, this award means a lot to the community. Colonel Albert Watson spent 27 and a half years active duty and in the reserves. As a part of the first class of ROTC at Eastern, he was commissioned as a second lieutenant in March 1968. After graduation, Al served in Vietnam. He has been recognized with multiple awards, including several Bronze Stars, Army Commendations, Meritorious, and Air Medals.
Most would agree that there's enough to celebrate in Colonel Watson's military career alone, but in addition to his commitment to serving our country, he has dedicated the last 20 years to finding members of the 199th Light Infantry Brigade. This is the unit that he served with in Vietnam. Currently, he has 500 names on the roster and is dedicated to a member newsletter every 6 months. In addition, he returns to campus frequently to help mentor our up-and-coming ROTC cadets.
Thank you, Al, on behalf of the Alumni Association, for your service and dedication to our country.
Let's get to know Al, better known as Jimmy to his family and friends, a little better by watching this video.
Vietnam veteran has not a problem, but we never got a welcome home. And I didn't get a very good welcome at home. My folks didn't get a very good welcome at home. When it was published on the TV, I came home and phone calls with, I should have come home in a body bag, I shouldn't have been there. That was my welcome home. We Vietnam vets always say when we see one another, it's a welcome home, because we never got our welcome home. And I've always wanted to bring those people back together again, to see their old buddies, what they did and what they're doing now. When I went to Vietnam in February 1968, I had a group of men, about 30 individuals from all over the United States. And I've always wondered whatever happened to those men that I had to take care of and try and bring home, which I did at that time for my 6 months. And in 1996, I started a quest to find those individuals. And my quest now has made a roster of over 500 individuals of that company that we were in from 1966 to 1970 when the colors came home. The medals and honors that I received during my military career is where a job that you were supposed to do and that you did. I normally don't talk about it, but I received a Bronze Star V with 4 Oakley clusters, 2 Meritorious Service Medals, an Air Medal of 10, Oakleys to it. I'm proud to wear all those. I don't really expound on what circumstances they came about and stuff like that. But all I wanted to do in my whole military career was do my job to the best of my ability to take care of my people. That's all I ever wanted to do. Being a graduate of Eastern Washington State College at that time has been a lifetime membership of a fraternity in a sense. I've always appreciated everything I did at Eastern, what Eastern has given me and what has taught me, not only my school subjects, but as a person, as an individual. Norm Stone, who was my advisor in the mathematics department, to Major Gratton, Major Eaton, to Colonel Pribnow, to Chaz Harbori, my swim coach, taught me the things I needed to do in life, just besides the schoolwork that I was going to do here. My wife and I met at Eastern in 1966. when I was working at the old Isles building, which was the student center. And we had dances on Friday and Saturday night, and Jean came to the dance, and we met there. And about a year and a half, 2 years later, when I returned back home from Vietnam, we got married, and we've been celebrating our 44th anniversary this year. Proudest thing in my military career is, and I'm going to get a little emotional here, is my wife. She has been my mainstay, has been there for me, and kept me going. One time, a whole group of us decided that we were going to go on a panty raid. And we ran through Louise Anderson Hall, we ran down to Senior Hall, and a gentleman by the name of, he's passed away, Dale Nickerson, was coming around the corner, running down the hall, and this gal stopped in the hallway and gave him a forearm shiver, and he was knocked down. We left him there and got back out of the building. We come back to Eastern to relive those times and appreciate what that school has done for us, for me and the wife both.
It is with great honor and pride that we welcome Colonel Al Jimmy Watson to the stage to present him with the 2014 Military Service Award, and both congratulate
proud to stand here. I got notified in March at Boys Weekend out, NASCAR, that we've been doing for about 8 or 9 years, and my wife was calling me down in Las Vegas, and what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and I thought I was in trouble. And how'd she find out? So anyway, gave her a call back, and she says, "You're not going to believe what happened." And I says, "What?" You know, hot water heater went out, the garage door broke down, or whatever. And says, "You've just been nominated for 2014 Alumni of the Year for Military Excellence." And I says, "Ooh, put me in for that. How did that happen?" And I was in awe when I received that word, and I had been selected for that award. But most of all, I'm a humble person standing here in front of you today, and I'm very honored and most honored to have received this award, as prestigious as it is, and be your alumni for 2014 in Military Excellence. But I'd like to thank, I got a whole mob back there. A few people I'd like to thank, and first of all is I'd like to have Amanda and Kyle Fort stand up, please. These are the two that put my packet together, unbeknownst to me, with the help of my wife on a telephone call. I don't like surprises, and this one was one, and I will take this surprise wholeheartedly. Also, I have my son-in-law couldn't come, but my daughter Karen and my grandson Riley are here from Alaska. And I don't know if I want to say this in order, but anyway, I have a few sisters here. I have my sister. I'm not going to go from oldest to youngest or whatever. I know that lesson for many years. But I've got my sister Helena, my sister Wilma, and Marianne, and I got a brother Lester that's here also. And with their spouses, I got Wayne Engstrom with Wilma. And my oldest sister, I blew that one. Anyway, Helena, her husband passed away a year ago, and yesterday and today at the track meet at Eastern Washington University, That track meet was dedicated to Mr. Dick Potter, who was my brother-in-law. And he passed away, and he ran that track meet for about 18 years. And they started a scholarship fund for 2 students, one female and one male, to have a scholarship to go to Eastern Washington University. Also, my sister Wilma is a retired lieutenant colonel in the Air National Guard. Her husband Wayne, who was a pilot in the Guard, is a retired colonel also. And so he has more stories. Mine are bigger. My fish are this big, this fish are that big. And I have a brother, Don Holmes, that's here tonight, also sitting in the front. Anyway, one of my sisters passed away 2 months ago and couldn't be with us here tonight, but I know she's looking overhead. Also, on my wife's side of the family, her twin sister Joni is here, and her husband Bob, who was a retired lieutenant commander in the Coast Guard, went through the Coast Guard Academy, and his family, David and Mercedes Bauer, and their 2 kids are here also. Got a couple special people I'd like to recognize, and one is a gentleman that I love golf. I bang that ball around, I get in these spots where I get into trouble, so when I play in a tournament, I know how to get out of that trouble. I'm always in it. But anyway, my golfing partner is Dave Valley and his wife Sarah. I'm Dave's little buddy, he's my big buddy, and what he is, he's my bodyguard. Anyway, and then one classmate I have here, we graduated, got our commission the 15th of March 1968 from Eastern Washington State College, and we had a nickname, the Eagles, but we don't say that word anymore. We have to be politically correct. We graduated, we went to Infantry Officers Basic course together, and he was my Ranger buddy, and he's the gentleman that got me and my wife together. He introduced us one night, and she got me hook, line, and sinker. But anyway, but Dave Gray and his wife Carol here to help celebrate with me today. And funny thing about Dave is we lost track of each other, and about 10 years after that, we got together here in Spokane, and he was from the LA area, and I had left the Army and gone into selling power tools. And when we had a lunch one day, hadn't seen each other, gave each other a big bear hug, and found out that he also sold power tools for Black & Decker, and I sold them for Bosch power tools. So I told him the tab was on him, he could put it on his expense. And we did battle between each other selling, and we're still here together as good friends. And then the last is my very best friend. Since the 4th grade, we've been glued to the hip together, we swam together, we did everything together. He's a brother to me, and that's Richard Sanford, and he made it from Seattle to be here, and I thank the rest of my family that's here, and wish them, I got a lot of nieces and great nephews and so on and so forth here today. But my time at Eastern was a wake-up call. My brother called in before me at Eastern. We lived in Gary Hall, which nobody knows what that is, and it was the old World War II buildings. And in the wintertime, we actually poured water on the windowsill to keep the wind from coming in. And then they were torn down when Pierce Hall was built 50 years ago. That's showing my age. And the next hall, we called it Twinkie Commons, opened up instead of Tlonka. And Eastern was a great time. Getting out of the house here in Spokane, Washington, 20 miles away. But I was away from home and swam all my 4 years at Eastern. Great instructors, great professors. Norm Stone, my advisor. I always wanted to be an architect my whole life. And Norm told me this is the math classes I'd have to have, the physics classes, the science classes, and he pushed me. Anytime I needed something, I could go to Norm and he would help me out and work with me. And Al Ogden, when I became president of the Min Students body, brought me in and also, okay, here's what we need to do. He showed me leadership and what I need to do with a group of people and how to run the men's student body. And I can never forget that, what those two did. And one was, for me, was Major Eaton, who was our MS4 instructor, and Dave can remember this, that the first day we walked into class, he had a saying on the board that he wrote, that a commander is responsible for everything his unit does and fails to do, no matter where he's at. That has been my motto my whole entire military career. I take care of my men, My NCOs would help me out, but the thing is, I was responsible for them, and I wanted to bring all of them home whenever I was with them. I took care of them as best I could. And sometimes I had a little bad situation with one or two. But anyway, but my life at Eastern was the biggest thing. I love coming back to this campus to see the difference between it from 1963 to when I graduated in 68 to where it is now. And at that time, in the middle of Showalter Hall, where Sacagawea statue is at, there was a layout of the campus that they wanted to have by 1980. And that campus is bigger than what that layout is right now. It's such a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous campus. And I'm so proud of this school. Come to all, I'm a season ticket holder for the football game. Got to do that. And, yeah, it's home. I think I've handled it long enough, but there's one person I kind of like to recognize, a person that with us here tonight. I'm going to surprise him. And he's been a mentor for this school for many years. He's led this school in a new direction. He's been an outstanding individual. I've been able to talk to him 2 or 3 times. And he's going to retire in June. And Dr. A and his wife, I thank you personally for what you've been able to do for this school. Thank you very much. The video said a lot up there, but you always remember the opening part and you always remember the last part. But the best part of my entire life is my wife, Jean. She was the one that pushed me to do the job that I need to do. I come home late at night, working hard, go on alert. Where are you going? I can't tell you, but we'll be up in about 3 hours, and I'll see you later. She was always in the way. You saw the one picture that was on the wall there. She's looking at my picture. I'm going to tell a story. I'm sorry. I got you. Okay. I never proposed to my wife. And they had an engagement party for my wife and me. I was in Vietnam. I called my future father-in-law and asked him to propose for me. They said he would. They had a Valentine's Day party, and we got engaged. That's 44 years ago, this last Valentine's Day. So she's always been there. She's been my backbone. She's been my shoulder. She's been everything for me, and a lot of this goes to my wife and me. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ginny Hinch, and I'm the Director of Career Services here at EWU. And I have to tell you, it's a true pleasure to be up here presenting the Distinguished Career Mentor Award with Kelly tonight.
And that's me. I'm Kelly Hayden. I'm the incoming Alumni Association Vice President. So you must have heard. Heard what? Well, I'm kind of a big deal. Well, sort of. Well, I am. But not as big a deal as the recipient of tonight's Distinguished Career Mentor Award, Justin Von Hagel, who I just heard might be referred to as Justin Van Halen. Justin has been a consistent presence on campus in the College of Science, Health, and Engineering. He is a positive example, a role model, an advisor, and a guide for students and young alumni starting their professional lives.
Absolutely. Justin has positively impacted the professional lives of EWU students by contributing to the development of EWU's mechanical engineering program, providing supplies and materials to the EWU engineering and manufacturing departments, and also providing internship opportunities for students as well. The alumni who nominated Justin said, "I personally am now in my professional engineering career because of the opportunities Justin provided me in both my internship and my career."
I still remember the anxiety that I felt in the weeks leading up to graduation. To have an advocate as a student is incredible. Justin's philosophy has always been to help those behind him. He vividly remembers the journey of becoming a successful young professional
and does everything in his power to assist others in the process of self-realization to help discover the qualities for which it takes to earn success. I'm reading this directly from here. When learning that Justin received this award, a mom of an Eastern graduate, Matthew Manville, wrote, "It is because of Justin's leadership qualities, his desire to help others learn, and his ability to see individuals' special qualities and potential that helped Matt become successful." With Justin's mentorship, Matt was the first intern from Eastern at Triumph, kickstarting his aeronautical engineering career. Following graduation, Matt worked at Boeing on the 787 Dreamliner, where he was lead manager. Sadly, Matt passed away in 2011, but Diana and Kenneth Manville never stopped appreciating Justin for that early mentorship to their son, and they are thankful that he participates in their annual golf tournament to support the Eastern endowment the family began in Matt's honor. Diana said, "It is so wonderful to hear that other students are acknowledging his involvement, acknowledging his involvement in their success, as Matthew did on many occasions."
I'm excited to watch the video and get to know Justin better.
Probably one of the most memorable moments I have at Eastern was when I met my wife. I met her here, and it's kind of a long story. We kind of knew each other, but I had seen her multiple times, and I finally got up the nerve, and I just found out where she lived in the dorms, and I just walked up to her door. I knocked on her door, and I introduced myself. And I've never done that before in my life. And so to me, I always think that it was just like, it was so scary, but I did it, and we've been together ever since. When I came to college, I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I came into the engineering department because my dad was an engineer, and I thought, I like what he seems like what he does, I want to do what he does. Since graduating Eastern, I was able to get a job at Boeing. It was just pretty exciting to actually be an engineer at the same company your dad was. And I actually found a drawing that he had done, a design with his name on it. And I thought that was pretty cool to think, you know, we're linked. And since then it's all changed, but that was pretty exciting for me. I've had a few mentors in my life. And actually the ones that stand out the most are the ones that help me with just dealing with the life side of things. Not so much the engineering mentor, but understanding how to work in business, how to deal with customers, how to deal with people in a manufacturing environment that have a different perspective than what I may have, having to collaborate in groups. And also I've had mentors that have taught me you know, it's okay to disagree, but once a decision is made, you have to support it and move on. The thing that motivates me the most is the satisfaction that I get from helping the students and being involved with the students, being involved with the university and helping out these students and just helping them find their way or take the steps in the right direction. Is just so rewarding for me as a person. It's one of those things that I really look forward to, because at the end of the day, I can complete a project and I can do a great job and I can have a happy customer and it feels good. But that was definitely a team that made that happen. Everyone that's part of the team that works with me makes that happen. Where when I get to work directly with Eastern and with the interns and give them that opportunity, it's rewarding for me as an individual. Because it's something that I cherish, it's something that I really like to do. I'm hoping that in the future, the lessons and the mentorship that I provide means something to the students.
Please join me in congratulating this year's Alumni's Distinguished Career Mentor, Justin Bonhagel.
pretty exciting, I have to say. Who would have thought back in 1991 when I loaded up my old yellow Toyota pickup and headed over to Eastern that I'd be standing on the stage getting an award like this. So I'm really excited about the opportunities I've had. I've been very fortunate in my career that I've had the chance to work with a lot of the students and be a positive influence in their life. And I think some of that comes from, even when I came to Eastern in the beginning, I have to say, there's a lot of my fraternity brothers out here tonight that I have to thank for showing up. But some of that mentorship came from the fraternity itself, is just being around some of these guys that help guide me, help make decisions, help teach me a little bit about life, and I learned a lot from that. And I think that changed my life. And being a part of Eastern and working with the professors there, I guess it really just made everything a rewarding experience for me, and I wanted to be able to share that when I left. So I have to say thanks to my wife for pushing me, and she always pushed me to be the best I can, and she always pushes me to be involved because I know deep down she knows how much it means to me to help the students out and to give back to the university. My two kids are with us tonight, and I'm excited they get to see this. They've been involved in Eastern since the beginning. They go to football games, they go to campus, they know what it's about. They wear their Eastern shirts at school. We live in Anacortes with pride, and everyone knows where Eastern is now. So we're definitely excited. I also would like to thank Nick Royce for nominating me for this. I have to admit, I was sitting in a meeting the day the phone call came through from Lisa, and I just sent it to voicemail because I recognized the 359 number as an Eastern number. I didn't know it was you. I thought it was a professor calling saying, hey, we need more material, or we need more cutters, or, which is always good. I look forward to it, but it's funny how to this day I still recognize that 359 number. And it was a Friday afternoon, and I was listening to the voicemail on my way home from work, and I had to listen to it about 3 or 4 times because I couldn't believe it. At first, I didn't even know these awards were around, and so I was really excited. And then I was kind of confused. I was like, what? Nick already has a job. He doesn't even nominate me. So, again, I'm very excited to be here. I'm very excited for this award. Again, I've been very fortunate to work with some young professionals like Nick, and this award is really exciting. But I think watching the young professionals like Nick and the others, and even high school students I help, watching them grow and develop and start careers and start their journey through life is really exciting. And I think when I see this award sitting there, that's what it will remind me of every time. So thanks again, I really appreciate it.
Good evening, I'm Lori Wyborny, the 2013 Alumnus of Service Award winner, and as was described last year at these awards, I'm a member of a family that are the loudest, proudest Eagle fans sitting at Roos Field.
I knew you looked familiar from somewhere. Good evening, good evening everyone. My name is DJ Jugre, and I'm honored and privileged to say that I'm the 2013-2014 HW president and also president-elect for next year.
Like him, he's like the future president. That's pretty cool. Tonight, DJ and I are thrilled to introduce you to the 2014 Alumnus of Service Award recipient. Alumni who received this award are active in the creation of inclusive communities by promoting equity and advancing the status of underrepresented groups, demonstrating outstanding leadership and serve as role models and mentors within the school community and organizations. And if the nominee is an educator, he or she demonstrates creativity and imagination in their lesson planning and teaching methods so that students are inspired to learn.
So this year's recipient is Rick Allen. Rick has spent his life making a difference, working his way through college by baling hay, washing dishes, digging ditches, etc. Can't believe that much. I can't imagine that right now. He settled on a bachelor's degree in journalism at Eastern, but that was only his first degree. Later, he received a master's degree and doctorate in public administration. Although Rick has had a long career in higher education in what it can be best described as community reform and development, Rick was an officer in the U.S. Army and trained with Special Forces, which means you don't want to mess with him.
Rick is a teacher, a mentor, and a relentless community and child advocate who has transformed communities. Under Rick's 20 years of leadership as CEO of the United Way of Pierce County, the agency has moved from a relatively simple fundraising model of collect and disperse to a model focused on specific issues such as childhood development. Rick is passionate about early childhood education. He states, and I quote, "The first 8 years of a child's life set the tone. As a community, we need to pour more resources into these years. Somewhere, a child needs to find the love and mentoring needed to set that tone, if not by their parents, by someone." End of quote. I have to totally agree with Rick on that.
So let's watch a video to meet Rick.
My first real job was baling hay. That's when I had my first beer in the middle of the summer. And the way that changed my life is I thought all the beers were going to taste that good forever. And they weren't. The first one was the best one. And I worked on construction, actually down in Pullman, building apartments. And didn't know a thing about it when I started, and knew a little bit more when I finished. And I never lived in an apartment that I helped build. A lot of people in service they're not motivated by money. They're motivated by helping people. And I was always motivated by helping people, but I was also entrepreneurial. I mean, I really liked working on getting better at solutions and leading and kind of taking risks. And it's kind of difficult to take risks when you're dealing with other people's lives. I spent 20 years as the CEO of United Way of Pierce County. It was a job that allowed me to expand my work with those nonprofits and to continue my effort to serve on a bigger scale. What I loved about the job most, I just recently retired in December, is that I got to work every day with literally hundreds of people whose single desire was to help other people. And I got paid for that. It was fabulous. So we did great things like we set up a program called the ABCD Dental Program that worked with uninsured kids, and there were 30,000 in Pierce County who didn't have any dental care. We put together a group to form family support centers, 12 family support centers all over Pierce County, so that people who were in need could get help right in their neighborhoods. And several nonprofits would house themselves in a single family support center in the neighborhood. So family could come there, and thousands of families have been helped because of that. And then we started up ECAP programs, which are early childhood education and assistance programs, expanded Head Start, expanded Early Head Start, put together a consortium of 50 agencies to continue to work in particular with parents, because the first years of parenthood are so important, and thousands of kids have been helped because of that. So it's that kind of change at scale that permanently and measurably improved people's lives. That it was thrilling to be able to work with so many other people and do that kind of thing and be successful at it. I'm really happy that I worked with a lot of great people, and that in the end I had several careers in several different worlds, and they were all really fun. When I started at Eastern, the tuition was $88 a quarter, and I couldn't afford it. And I remember my first day at school. And I walked into this big room where they were having this freshman orientation and everybody was sitting there. And I consciously remember thinking, nobody in here knows me. I can be here who I've always wanted to be, and nobody's going to know the difference. I ended up at Eastern kind of, at first, out of default. I didn't have other options. But that's what I really like about Eastern. It's a place where people who are regular, everyday, middle Americans can come and take the next step. This morning, I spent time as I was walking, just looking at who was walking on the sidewalks. And they're all those same people. It's pretty cool here.
I told you I was going to go back to that tuition rate though. One of Rick's and his wife, Alberta, favorite things to do is travel. And what a coincidence and what a chance tonight. They are in, I don't know what's this country yet, Croatia. But proudly accepting the award on his behalf is tonight is his brother John and Rob Allen. So if you guys can come up to the stage, please.
We know Rick pretty well. A couple things that were quite evident in the presentation. You might have to do this. Rick is a real entrepreneurial guy. He really wants to get things going. He wants to try new things. And one of the things that was true when I visited his office where he works, people at United Way, was, and he said over and over there, how he really has fun in his work. Well, the people that were working with him, when I visited his office 3 or 4 times, it was just one of these happy places. You walk into any office, and things are business. And at his place, it was like, hey, how you doing? Aren't you his brother? And what are you doing here? So he always carried and insisted in the work that he was doing with other people that it have a lighter tone. Another thing about risk, for a number of years I was bouncing between different jobs. He called me up one time and he said, how's it going? And I said, pretty well. He said, are you still unemployed? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, I know you've always been interested in wine. And I think the wine business in the state of Washington is going to go crazy. Why don't we open a wine store? And I said, well, that's going to take some money, and I better get a job. And he said, okay, if you have the time, I have the money. And so we ended up, over the course of the next 2.5 years, purchasing a wine store, getting it ready and rolling, and going out of business. And his money, my time, but his money. And I'm thinking, you really are an entrepreneurial guy, and I want you to know how sorry I am that this didn't work out. And he said, what's next? What are you going to do next? And it wasn't about what occurred, it was about the possibilities. And he was always like that. So, there's more to say, but I think Rob will have a lot more to say than me. So, go for it.
Well, it's a joy to accept this honor for our brother. People before us were thanking people, and I guess if we could do it, I'd say we should thank our mother. She was a reading teacher, and so it's not surprising, I guess, that Rick ended up being an advocate for early childhood education. What they didn't mention is that Rick was the oldest of 6 children, and then our mother married another school teacher who had 8 children. So there were 14 of us. That was motivation to get out of the house. Yeah, Rick was the first to get out. So when he graduated, we grew up in Millwood, and when Rick graduated in 1964 from West Valley, he got in that beautiful 1956 Chevrolet Bel Air two-door hardtop, pointed it toward Cheney and said, "Follow me." And what resulted is that John was next, and then I went, and ultimately our stepbrother also went. Four of us followed Rick and went through at EWU.
We got an award for that. Dean Darrell Hagee gave us a plaque. For most people at Eastern at the same time.
Rick taught us how to maximize the college experience. He taught us about running Coke. He wrote for the Easterner. He helped start a fraternity. He worked as an activities vice president at EWU and brought big name entertainment, including Kenny Rogers in the first edition. He brought them to EWU back in 1968, I think.
And Indy Purple and a bunch of
Okay. So Rick is a guy that leads by example. And I guess we're all kind of entrepreneurial.
He led by example in a number of ways. He was also an RA. He was the resident assistant in the dormitory where I lived. And he was very strict about enforcing alcohol rules. And one time he came into my dorm room and poured a bottle of rum down the drain. And I thought, you're my brother. Do I get any privilege? Anyway, it didn't always work.
So we've been trying to keep up with Rick and follow in his footsteps ever since. He's been a great model for all of us in our family, and we thank you for honoring him.
Oh, and I think if you, like you were saying, it's always important to honor the people who have been involved in any production. One of the main directors in his life, his wife Alvarita, who nominated him. And of course, the producers are mother and father. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dave Takasaki. I'm a 2009 graduate from the School of Business. I'm also on the board of directors for the Alumni Association. I actually worked for Lisa Poplowski when I was in school, and apparently I did something right because she keeps asking me to come back, despite all the pranks I pulled on her and the staff when I worked there, so thank you, Lisa. I'm proud to represent a new tradition at the Alumni Awards by recognizing the recipients of the 2014-2015 Alumni Scholarship Endowment Award. Students who receive this award are not only great students, but stewards within their communities. But they also share a common bond with us. They've either had a parent or grandparent who have graduated from Eastern. This year, the Alumni Association worked hard to finalize the endowment process for our scholarships, and therefore we have awarded 4 scholarships this year. So thank you for the participation of the board and other alumni donors. In addition, we are proud to share that we're able to award 30 additional scholarships due to the EW license plate sales for Eastern students. As many of you know, every time a license plate is sold, a portion of that goes back to Eastern and specifically to scholarships. So we have sold close to 11,000 license plates, awarded 222 scholarships, for a total of $222,000 in scholarships. So let's give that a hand. Finally, we have a few students here tonight who have received these exact scholarships that I just talked about. So I'll ask the students to please stand as I read their name so we can recognize them. Christina Lee. Nicole Roos. Charlie Moffitt. Natasha Nellis. And Lauren Riley. Congratulations and thank you for everybody who supports EW financially. Go Eats.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Gina Campbell, President of the Alumni Association, for 30 more days. Wow, Gina, I didn't know you were counting. You know, serving as Alumni President has been a great honor and lots of fun, but I'm like a graduating senior on the football team. It's time to retire my jersey. Well, speaking of retirement, did you know that Dr. Arevalo was retiring? Yes, of course I knew that. In fact, Dr. A and I have a ton in common. Did you know that? Well, I know you, and I probably know you better than Dr. A, but really I did not know that. So are you going to share with us? Because, you know, perhaps that will help us come up with maybe some going away gifts for one of you. Absolutely. So, if you mean presents, I love presents, and I would be happy to share. So let's see, I'll start with the important things first. EW football. Swoop. I love swoop. Winning. We both like to win. Shaved ice. Warm sun. Driving fast. Actually, I'm a total chicken, but he likes that. Dancing. Porsches, although only one of us has one. I have a Toyota. Apple pie. Traveling to new places. Cards and poker. I have a great poker face. And tinkering with our cars. Okay, so maybe we don't have all those things in common, but we do a lot. Wow, that was a long list. I wasn't sure how long that was going to be, but to be honest, those aren't really things that are easy to purchase, and nor do we really have those things here with us tonight. But what I do know is, like you, Dr. A, and to that matter, Nadine, they've been incredible advocates of alumni and also the Alumni Association. They've attended countless, and I mean countless events, and have been generous hosts to alumni over the years. Although I have many memories of working with Dr. Arevalo and Nadine, I would have to say that one of my most memorable times is one of the first times we worked together, which was a trip to the West Side. I don't know if Dr. Arevalo remembers this or not, but I flew over and I was to pick up Dr. Arevalo in downtown Seattle, and it was pouring rain. Pouring. I know, shocker, right? So, it was sort of like driving Miss Daisy, but it was driving the university president, and we were late. Very, very late. So, I'm not really 100% sure where we're going. We're late. It's raining. And I have the president sitting beside me in the car, who I really barely know at the time. And we are headed to Tacoma to attend a recruitment event and dinner with some alumni. It's not really a situation where you can kind of keep your cool, and I try to keep my cool even when I'm really nervous, try to play things off. Well, let's just say that it was the first and the last time I ever heard him curse, and it was the first and last time I ever drove him anywhere. And I don't know if he was cursing at me, and I don't know if it's just a quick never drove him anywhere again, but that really is the truth. But although clearly that was a very memorable trip for me, maybe not for him, but for me, the best part of that night, when all was said and done and we were all safe, we did sit and enjoy a cocktail together and shared personal stories. And it was a great opportunity to know a great man who has led our university through many a rainstorm.
And just like all of our alumni, Dr. A, you brought with you to Eastern an amazing story. Students and alumni have been inspired by you and your leadership. On behalf of 100,000 alumni worldwide, we want to thank you for your service and commitment over the last 8 years. It has been a pleasure to work alongside you. Dr. A, we would love you and Nadine to join us on stage so we can present you with the best gift the Alumni Association has to give and to thank you both.
Well, actually nobody told me this was going to happen tonight. I did read it in the program. So I wrote down a few notes. Not really. My staff really tells me that I shouldn't write things down because I always mess it up. And so it's easier for me to speak, if you will, from the cuff. Because I think it really indicates how I really feel. And as Lisa mentioned, I do vaguely remember that incident. And interestingly enough, I think it gives you insight into people's abilities and opportunities that they have to create success out of difficulties, because I think we did have a successful evening that night. What I would tell you is that we've really enjoyed being at Eastern. I think the institution has moved forward, but quite frankly, it's been because we have a great team at Eastern. It's not about me, it's about who and everybody else that works at Eastern. We provide a little bit of direction. Sometimes you have to kick somebody in the butt, but it comes with the territory. One of the things that I would tell you, and I think those of you have read the Alumni magazine that came out this month, and I truly do mean it. One of the things that we put presidents through when they first arrive on campus is what is affectionately called a 100-day plan. So what are you going to do in the first 100 days that you're president? And it's obviously like drinking out of a fire hose, because things come very fast and happen all over the state. But one of the things that I quickly learned is that because I met easily, I don't know, 10,000 people, or at least it seemed like it the first 100 days that I was on campus. But one of the things that I learned is that it was very difficult for some reason, for alums to admit that they had been at Eastern. And when I met somebody, it usually took towards the end of the conversation for somebody to say, oh, by the way, I graduated in X day. I think today it's very different. When I go to a gathering, 9 times out of 10, the first thing that happens when I meet somebody is to say, oh, I'm an alumnus of Eastern. And so, if there's anything that this lady next to me and I have done is really to try and get people to feel good about having graduated from Eastern. Thank you.
As they say, what a tough act to follow. Thank you, Dr. A, for your words. Good evening, my name is Sam Busby. I am an EWU alumnus, and I am the Web Communications Consultant for the university.
Hello all, I'm Samantha Armstrong, Associate Director for Student Activities, Involvement, and Leadership at Eastern Washington University. I have to say, Sam, when it was mentioned that we would get to present together, I was thrilled. I mean, two Sams, one Sam, what was Lisa thinking?
Yeah, I bet she was thinking, no, not that Sam, I meant the other Sam. Oh well, care to comment, Lisa? No comment, okay.
In any case, I'm pretty excited to be here this evening to celebrate the EWU alumni. Did you know that this is the first year for the Greek Service Award?
Yes, I did. I designed the invitation and had to fit the extra category in. And I'm excited too. We're about to present this award to one of my fraternity brothers. But before we do that, let's talk about the award. The Greek Values and Service Award recognizes outstanding alumni who exemplify the fraternal values established by our founders through exceptional and ethical leadership, providing mentoring support to Eastern Washington University sororities and fraternities.
Recipients of this award provide extraordinary and sustained service to their own fraternity or sorority and/or the EWU campus community, demonstrate a belief and commitment to the true interfraternal philosophy, foster positive change within the EWU Greek community and/or EWU, and they consistently and routinely exemplify fraternal values, including leadership, brotherhood, sisterhood, philanthropy, and service. Nominees do not have to be a member of a fraternity or sorority to receive this award.
This year's recipient is currently the Alumni Board President for the Washington Gamma Chapter of Sigma Phi Epsilon at Eastern Washington University. As an undergraduate, he held many leadership roles on campus, as well as in the chapter where he served as the chapter president his senior year. After graduating from Eastern in 2007, he worked for Sigma Phi Epsilon headquarters in Richmond, Virginia, as a regional director and a director of expansion.
Working for any fraternity's headquarters speaks a lot about a person's character. Advising college students not only takes a sense of humor, compassion and willingness to make a difference, but also consistency and firmness, all of which go a long way in building trust while mentoring students. This recipient maintains a balance between being approachable and enforcing policies, helping his chapter become better men. It is clear that the core fraternal values have not only impacted the life of this recipient, they have driven him to continue to make a difference in the lives of students.
Along with being Alumni Board President, this year's recipient, who I'll just call Ryan because I shouldn't share fraternal nicknames in polite company, serves as a multi-purpose advisor, donating much of his time and talents for the betterment of the chapter. He has overseen multiple house renovations and has been instrumental in creating excellent leaders by hosting monthly workshops and an annual event aimed at our fraternity's mission of building balanced leaders for the world's communities. Through his actions as Alumni Board President, he has been able to help young men embrace the cardinal principles of Sigma Phi Epsilon, virtue, diligence, and brotherly love. It is one thing to live up to these principles, but it is truly noble to help others, or to help instill them in the next generation.
Let's learn more about this recipient of the first Greek Values and Service Alumni.
I think it started at the kitchen table one morning with my mom at breakfast before school, probably my dad, and just asking me where I wanted to go and where I wanted to start applying for. Both my parents went to Eastern, and so that was the first place I looked and liked what I saw. That was it. I was a business major, so I was business administration and marketing. I was a member of the SIGEP fraternity. Joined my freshman year, lived in the dorms for about 2 weeks, and then those guys recruited me to go join this fraternity. Wasn't quite sure what that was all about, and was a bit skeptical, to say the least. But after consulting with my parents, they said, why not check it out? Maybe we'll make some good friends. So. Eastern prepared me for my career and for life by giving me an opportunity to practice everything that my family had taught me and the fraternity had taught me. I think it's important to be in an atmosphere where you can fail and learn from those mistakes, and also be challenged to learn those skills that are going to help you the rest of your life. After graduation, I was recruited to go work for SIGEP's headquarters over in Richmond, Virginia. My title was a regional director, and so I traveled the southwest of the country. I had Southern California and Arizona, and got to see 18 other universities down there. That was one job that I'll definitely miss, but would never do again. You lived out of your car, slept in hotels and volunteers' houses, but it was really neat meeting a group of guys that were committed to doing things different and to really making an amazing college experience. And being able to hear everyone's story and see how they support each other was pretty powerful. I'm currently on the alumni board of the local chapter here at Eastern, and along with a few other alumni. The purpose of the alumni board is to support the undergraduates here at Eastern, to mentor the leaders. There's 7 leaders that run the fraternity, and to challenge them and push them to do bigger, better things. What inspires me to stay involved after all these years is just seeing the accomplishments that the students achieve when they dare to be a little different than what a stereotype might imply, and they see the success that they get because of that is rewarding and a humbling feeling. When I look back on my fraternity experience, the thing I remember the most is just having the opportunity to have an organization and a group of guys that reinforce the values that I had when I grew up, and that I learned from my parents and from my church. So it was a good opportunity to practice that.
If you want to know even more about Ryan, I'm sure Sam knows the parts that were edited out.
I don't know, maybe. Or I could defer to the chapter members who are here tonight who've nominated him. No? Okay. As I said, Ryan is my friend and my fraternity brother, and it is an honor and a privilege to be here tonight to join all of you in congratulating him as the 2014 Greek Values and Service Alumni Award winner.
Dr. A, I'm definitely proud to be an Eastern alum, and Sam, thanks for squeezing me in on that flyer there. I guess first off, start with Kyle. Kyle, where are you at? Wave your hands. There you are. You definitely surprised me with this. It's a big honor to receive this, and to Max and Doran, who are with them here tonight. It's been a privilege working with you guys. It's very rewarding. It's exciting seeing you guys on the news last week, recognizing some of the accomplishments that you guys are doing. And I look forward to seeing what you guys do for the next year. And thanks to my parents, Mom and Dad, for coming to support me and for supporting me all growing up, and now to my fiance Mary for supporting her as well. And who I can't wait to marry this September. So, thank you.
Good evening, I'm Jason Clergett. I am the current Inspirational Young Alumnus Award winner.
Jason, you do know that we're up here to give out the 2014 Inspiring Young Alumnus Award, right?
Absolutely, but for the next 5 minutes, it's still mine.
Okay. Well, while Jason's enjoying his last few minutes, I should tell you that my name is Amanda Swan, and I'm an EWU graduate and member of the Alumni Association's Young Professionals Networking Committee.
Your team is awesome. I sat on one of your monthly panels about a year ago, and if you're an alum or a senior, you should connect with Amanda after the show.
Definitely, and thanks for the plug, Jason.
That's what I do. Next on my list is to advertise the winner of this year's Inspirational Young Alumnus Award. This award recognizes up-and-coming leaders among EWU alumni who have graduated within the past 15 years. Recipients demonstrate a commitment to excellence in their life, and after graduation, a commitment to extraordinary work, research, and volunteerism.
Recipients of this award have attained significant prominence through professional endeavor, research, volunteerism, and/or involvement with the local or global community or the university. They demonstrate leadership and a commitment to the service of others. And they initiate innovative service projects, research, business, or other original enterprises.
Last year after I received this award, it's pretty typical to think about all the people in your life that deserve it. And I spent a lot of time thinking about this. And without a doubt, Art Mahalovich deserved it more than I did. He has a lion's courage, a driven desire to make lives of others around him better. He has the humility to take on issues that aren't necessarily sexy, but champion them. He is the Spokane River Keeper. He has dedicated his entire career to making the world we interact with cleaner, smarter, and more sustainable. He is an absolute inspiration to me and an absolute inspiration to those around him.
That, and he is an alum who had defected from Montana and became another one of our most active and supportive Eagles. He is one of the founding committee members of the Young Professionals Networking Committee. He is at every single football game, many basketball games, has an Eagle license plate, married a fellow Eag, hey Sarah, and is now one of the newest board members of the Alumni Association. Bart is someone who embodies the true meaning of Eagle pride. Let's take a look at his video.
Parents taught me about getting outside and enjoying outdoors. We would spend many times in Montana rafting, and fishing, and hunting, and hiking, and biking, and the outdoors have always been part of who I am. I always look back at history and I'm inspired by people that come before me, because I'm not the first person that said, oh, we should probably have a cleaner Spokane River, and I'm not going to be the last. As the Spokane River Keeper, my job entails being an advocate for the Spokane River, for the health of the watershed, for the health of the community that accesses and uses the river. So I like to tell people that Spokane River Keeper is the eyes and ears of the Spokane River. We look out for pollution issues or other issues with the river. We speak up about those issues, and then we listen to citizens and businesses and elected officials on river issues as well. And just try to be there at the table, in the room, when decisions and stuff is happening around the river. We try to be the ones, and we are the ones, that speak up for a good, clean Spokane River. I chose to attend Eastern. It was the only school I applied for. I had a friend who was at Eastern the year before, a friend from high school. He said, you know, it's great out here. It's different. Just escape Montana for the time being and come check it out. And the second I got to Eastern, this whole idea of mine to really just jump right in and get plugged in and try to meet people, I got a job on campus. I decided after a little bit of time that I wanted to go into journalism, and so I got into the journalism department. I wanted to write for the Easterner, and I wanted to be at events, and I stuck around on campus. I had my job there, my internships there, my schooling there, and I just tried to be as plugged in as possible. I wanted to get involved more at Eastern and more with my commitment to the university by becoming a board member for the Alumni Association. And I came to that decision, really it was just an extension of what, the work I've been doing since I've graduated, staying plugged in with the university, staying involved. I've, since graduating, I've written for the Alumni magazine, I've written for the Discovery magazine. I've stayed engaged with what the university is doing in many ways. And this just felt like the natural progression of me giving back and staying more involved. And I've had a great experience as an alumni, and I wanted to make sure that the future experiences of future alumni at Eastern, it was a similar experience, if not better. This award means a lot. To be recognized by other alumni and to be recognized by my peers as being inspirational, whatever that necessarily means. I feel like I've done such a, I've just done what I thought was the best thing to do for others and for the Spokane River and for the environment. To be able to count this award as validation for everyone who's worked hard at environmental issues and our fight for clean water and this fundamental right we have for a clean river and clean water worldwide is really, it's inspiring. I'm just an extension of the inspiration that I've received, and I hope to carry that forward and hopefully inspire someone else to get involved and work hard for good environmental issues.
Unfortunately, Bart could not be here tonight, but trust me, he really wanted to. Right this minute, he is in Pittsburgh at the annual River Rally and Waterkeeper Conference, networking with his counterparts from all over the globe. And trust me, he is sitting there checking the alumni Twitter site a lot. I actually took a picture and just sent it to him of himself on the screen. So please join me in congratulating him, and let's try to make it loud enough that he can hear it in Pittsburgh, as we welcome his dad, Mitch Mihalovich, to the stage to accept the 2014 Inspirational Young Alumni Award.
I stand here as a very proud father in accepting this award for Bart. It goes without saying that he's a bit saddened, and I'm sure a bit forlorn that he cannot be here in person to accept. But as Jason mentioned, he is in Pittsburgh, and he's attending the annual Waterkeeper Alliance Conference, doing what he does best, and that is learning all that he can and inspiring others about what he loves and his mission and his passion, and that is to preserve and to protect the beautiful Spokane River. So I am honored and I'm privileged to accept this award on his behalf. And if you will indulge me for just a few minutes, Bart did prepare a few words, and I'd like to read those to you now. Thank you so much for recognizing me as the Eastern Washington University Inspirational Young Alumnus. This means the absolute world to me. If you only knew how hard it was for me to be over 2,000 miles away and unable to be there to accept in person. Plus, I'm sure you're all having a great time at that party. And as my wife and mom both know, I've never been one to like to miss a good time. As may have been stated, I'm currently in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at the annual Waterkeeper Alliance International Conference. I'm surrounded by my peers who have traveled from places all over the world to be here for this conference. Each and every one of the over 200 waterkeepers worldwide, many of whom are here with me now, are my heroes. They are my source of inspiration. So to know how much it means to me to seek inspiration and to be inspired to do good things, I know how important inspiration is. So I am beyond humbled that I was nominated for such an award. And to be nominated by my wife Sarah and a good friend and last year's recipient, Jason Clergett, means a lot to me. So thank you so much for this recognition. I can only accept this by taking a minute to thank some very special people by name. I want to thank my mom and dad, Mitch and Joe, for instilling in me a strong work ethic, an emotional and physical connection to Mother Nature, and the drive to take chances, to challenge myself, and to construct a career and life path that is uniquely mine, that is authentic, and that is selfless. I want to thank my brothers, Mickey and Dobie, for being my best friends and for being always supportive. I want to thank my wife, Sarah, for being my biggest source of inspiration and for being a great leader of our life adventure. I want to thank some of my mentors, Dr. Bill Youngs, Ron Hall, Bill Stimson, Tim Connor, Rick Eichstadt, and the late Mike Chappell. And finally, I want to thank EWU. I honestly wouldn't be where I'm at today without this institution and the opportunities I was afforded in the time I spent on campus. People ask me all the time how they can make a difference. And the answer I always give is simply, find an issue you're passionate about, something that affects you in one way or another, and find where you're comfortable at with trying to make a difference. Maybe that's writing a letter to the editor, or filling out a comment online, or maybe it's making a meeting with an elected official or a policy person to ask for change. Find where you're comfortable and take it one step further. That's how you make change. That's what inspired me to get into this work. And if one of you walks away tonight and takes that advice, I'll be very inspired to see you on the front lines. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Good news is we are in the home stretch. We don't have two or more of these things and it's going to be great. So good evening. I'm Mike Westfall, Vice President for Advancement. It's a great event. We're really happy to have everybody here.
Hi everyone, I'm Tom Capal, and I'm excited to be taking the reins from Gina in 30 days as the next Alumni Board President. And you know, I just realized what that means, among many other things that are fun and interesting. I'll be president on August 23rd. Mike, what do you do on August 23rd?
Watching a winning football team, which is the Eastern Eagles, and recording it on ESPN nationally so I can watch the game at home.
Mike and I are excited tonight to present Washington Trust Bank with the 2014 Organization of the Year Award.
I'm really excited about this award, and we've worked closely with them, and I have my official EW Alumni Association credit card, and I'm going into deeper debt, but it's helping Eastern, and so I encourage you all to do the same thing. The Organization of the Year Award recognizes those organizations that have furthered the success of Eastern by demonstrating outstanding dedication to supporting Eastern and achieving its mission, by providing support with enthusiasm and excitement, which they definitely have, and by being dedicated to enhancing the experience or education of Eastern students, which they have. Without a doubt, Washington Trust is an excellent selection for this award this evening.
As a longtime fan of Eagle football, I have witnessed, as many of you have, incredible growth in Eagle pride around the nation and at Roos Stadium. And like many fans, fellowship with alumni and friends before the game is a highlight of my weekend. This fellowship, otherwise known as tailgating, has grown in abundance, and the Alumni Association has grown with it. With the increase of fans and the desire to continue providing a location for alumni, friends, and family to gather, the Alumni Association completely expanded their pregame fan zone, known as the Red Zone. As the Alumni Association's newest banking partner, we looked to Washington Trust. Little did we know the excitement, passion, and time their team would pour into it. A mobile banking unit, a hot dog and video trailer, giveaways, and incredible employees. They truly delivered the sparkle to the Red Zone.
And beyond the tailgating, Washington Trust is way more invested in the Eastern and in our communities. As a part of their community mission, they continuously promote the growth and success of the communities through financial contributions and support of employee volunteerism. With their leadership and leadership of their employees, hundreds of charitable organizations and worthy causes shine brighter. And I knew that as an institution or athletic program that we had made it to some certain level when Washington Trust stepped up and started investing in this partnership even more.
Washington Trust's story began in Spokane in 1902. It is the story of a family and a legion of loyal customers. During that year, they applied for a charter to open a new bank. Washington Trust Company opened for business on November 3rd, 1902. In 1905, Washington Trust offered what was a new idea at the time in financial services: checking accounts. And only 5 years after opening, the bank's assets grew to over $1 million, even though the country's economy was facing hard times and many other banks had failed. Listen as they tell you more about their story.
Well, I had the opportunity to start with the bank in 8th grade, painting our driveways, and I've worked here ever since. So, worked my way through every different area of the bank, and became the president of the bank about 14 years ago. The unique thing about our company is family-owned, 114 years of history, and really customer-centric and employee-centric bank. We kind of try to make a company that's fun to work for, and you enjoy coming to work every day, working with great people and great customers.
Why would a bank buy a 46-foot mobile bus and a barbecue/tailgate rig?
With Washington Trust Bank, if you go to any community event, you'll see us participating in that.
The barbecue was my crazy idea to say that if we're going to be unique and we're going to go to other places of business, we need to have a different atmosphere, a more welcoming and more fun atmosphere.
But I think what is amazing to me is the amount of capital projects that we support or foundations that we'll step up and partner with to bring new dollars into our community to really address a fundamental human services need and try and do it without recognition, but just because it's the right thing. And that really comes from the ownership of our company and a strong belief investing back into the community makes a big difference for the future of the community.
The greatest part about Washington Trust is that it is a family. There's not anybody in this company that we wouldn't have over to our house for a barbecue or if they need something from you. So it's a lot more than work. You're building family and relationship here, so it's a really unique company.
We're really fortunate that we have this partnership with Eastern Washington because 12,000 students out at Eastern is a huge impact from an economic development standpoint and building students who later live throughout our entire footprint and drive the economic vitality of our region, so it's very important.
We want to help the local community grow, and with Eastern, their high standards and what they're doing, and our high standards and what we're doing seem like a perfect marriage for us, because as you know, the Eastern students stay here, they live here, they work here, and what Washington Trust does and prides themselves on is we build relationships with people throughout their life.
Another very important part about our partnership with Eastern is the alumni. As I travel across our footprint, having 100,000 alumni scattered across the country, it's amazing the opportunity I will have to visit people, whether it's on an airplane or in an airport, and I run into the Go Red emblem, and they're proudly displaying their Eastern roots and have relocated to do incredible things. And it's an honor to have a chance to meet those people and hear their enthusiasm about Eastern, Spokane, and the Northwest. This award means an incredible amount to me, both as the president of this company, but more importantly for all our employees who have graduated from Eastern, all our customers who have been involved with Eastern, all the events we've participated with the university, and the great impact that it's had on our community. It's an honor to partner with an incredible organization like Eastern Washington that's educating the students that are going to make the difference for the next generation, and we're just honored to be recognized with this award.
Thank you, Washington Trust Bank, for all you do for Eastern and the communities in our region. As a VP for Advancement, I have witnessed your continued commitment to the Eastern family. We are thankful for your support.
Everyone, please join us in congratulating and thanking Washington Trust Bank, recipient of the annual Organization of the Year Award for the work they do at EWU and in the community. Here to accept this award on behalf of Washington Trust Bank is Dave Walker, Vice President and Team Leader of Private Banking.
I have to add, Dave Walker is a remarkable golfer.
I think I've worked through a couple of responses that I've kind of thrown away over the course of the night, in large part because I'm not here representing myself. And for all the previous award winners, you are to be congratulated. What you've done for this university, what you've done for our country, what you've done for the community is to be recognized and to be honored. And tonight I represent 800 plus employees, particularly about 50 who show up at that tailgate event and who mob each other because they want to be out there. But it really is about relationships. I've been involved with Eastern for 15 years. Not all with Washington Trust, but tonight I get to represent 800 plus people who are a part of this community just like Eastern is. Just like Pete Stanton's family and Jack Heath's family, who said, you know what, this is really cool, just go make it happen. And they didn't ask how we were going to do it. They didn't ask for a whole lot of details. They just said it's the right thing to do. And it's an honor for me to represent Pete Stanton and his family, Jack Heath, and the other folks that represent Washington Trust. And I also want to thank, as a volunteer at Eastern on the foundation board for many, many years in the athletic department, there's a lot of corporate folks who help. And I know I'm going to make this kind of goofy because I'm going to forget a lot of folks. But for every Washington Trust, there's also a Pepsi. There's also a Spokane Teachers Credit Union. There's also our sponsor, United America, who step up when they're asked, who don't seek a whole lot of applause. And I know we do it, there's a lot of competition. We all are seeking to grow our business and do the right things for our shareholders. But it really is about a much broader concept of supporting local education and just having a good time doing it. If you haven't been to a football game, you're really missing something. Come on out this next year, especially August 23rd. It is going to just be a kick-ass fun time. So thank you, Dr. A. It has been a pleasure. I've been here all the 8 years you've been here. I was part of the committee that helped interview and make a recommendation. Nadine, you're a treasure. And we will miss you. And it is, again, just an honor to be amongst all the winners tonight. Because it's just cool to be an Eastern Eagle. And I just am thrilled to be here. Thank you.
My name is Pat Spanger. I am a proud EW alum, and I'm the Associate Director of Annual Giving at EW.
And my name is Greg Cunningham. I am another Alumni Association board member here tonight.
We want to take a moment to welcome our newest alumni that will be joining us this June. We have with us this evening some of the winners of the Francis B. Houston Award. That is the most prestigious award given by EW to a student. The award was established to honor Francis B. Houston's commitment to education and student excellence at Eastern. It is awarded to graduating seniors for academic excellence and outstanding leadership qualities demonstrated at EW or in their communities. Students must be nominated for this award by a faculty member and selected by the dean of his or her college. Please stand as I call your names. Samuel Adams, Sean Bayman, Jessica Bolt, Stephanie Davis, Amanda Goad, Jack Simhikin, Katrina Knizik, Shelley Griffith, Kendra Sherrill, Russell Webster, Mauricio Zumba, and lastly, Hillary Spanger. Yes, we're related. Proud mom moment. I'm going to go off script just a second here, because there are other proud parents out here. If you're a proud parent of an alum, stand up. Come on. Yeah.
And if there are any additional seniors in the room this evening, please stand so that you can be recognized as well. Congratulations. We are honored to have you here amongst us this evening. And as you make these next steps in your lives, do not do so timidly. Know that you exit campus to a world with support of the Eastern Washington University Alumni Association. All of us here to provide guidance, mentorship, and a connection.
Tonight you have joined us in honoring alumni who embody Eastern's vision to develop professionally, socially, and culturally engaged leaders, citizens, and communities. We have great hopes for you, and we look forward to seeing the impact each of you will have, and we have no doubt someday in the future we will see you on the stage receiving your own awards for success and excellence.
To be an Eastern alum is a proud and awesome thing, and tonight especially, I can say it is great to be an Eagle. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Manny Hockheimer, the Director of Corporate Business Development at New America Credit Union. I do also want to personally acknowledge a dear friend of mine, Dave Walker. We actually served together in a leadership role at church together, and he made a very important point. What makes this community great is not the competition and all that, that's fun, but it's that tie that binds everything together. And I think Eastern Washington University is a microcosm for a larger macrocosm of this community. It's an honor to be here tonight, and I'd like to also point out my fellow presenter, Shar Datsatel. She had the honor of receiving this next award that we're about to present, the Lifetime Achievement Award. And it's a privilege to share the stage with someone who's given so much to EWU and the Spokane community. But most importantly, my little boy and her grandson are best friends.
So here's to Luca and James. Thanks, Manny, for the kind introduction, and I'm sure the audience will also join me in thanking Numerica Credit Union for sponsoring this evening's event. So they tell me that the Lifetime Achievement Award is the highest honor bestowed by Eastern's Alumni Association, and to stand in front of this group and be honored for a lifetime of work is truly a special occasion that you don't forget. And I was very proud to receive that award last year.
So I don't want to embarrass Cher too much, but talking about this year's winner means also talking about Cher as well, because the Lifetime Achievement Award is presented to those who truly are special individuals, who've inspired and served and have truly just celebrated awesome their whole lives. These award recipients demonstrate a history of active participation in Eastern's community and a commitment to ensuring its future vitality. They have a lifetime record of substantive contributions to their professional fields. They exemplify outstanding leadership and also mentorship to others. They also serve as role models through a strong commitment to community service.
Did I really do all that? It seems impressive when you put it like that, and I was truly honored to receive the award. And also very, very much want to say that we're honored to be EW graduates, and I think Dr. A was a big part of that, so thanks, Dr. A and Nadine. But I'm more honored to help recognize this year's deserving recipient. You can't help but admire Dr. Tom Tiffany, and after we tell you about him, you will as well. So go ahead and get comfortable, because there's quite a bit to say. Since 1965, when Tom graduated from EWU, he's made significant contributions in the National Medical Reference Laboratory business. Tom is a visionary. He's a leader who left a legacy in his joint venture partnership model between Medical Reference Laboratory and hospital systems, which is in practice now in more than half a dozen states. And he's also influenced the scientific field with over 40 technical publications and 10 U.S. patents.
Dr. Tom Tiffany grew a regional medical reference laboratory that we all know as PAML of 125 employees to one of the top 10 clinical laboratories in the whole United States. It became one of the largest employers in Spokane with over 1,600 employees today. Under his leadership, PAML received numerous national and regional prestigious awards, including the 2011 Laboratory Public Service National Leadership Awards presented at the G2 Laboratory Institute meeting in Washington, D.C., and several years of recognition in CEO magazine as one of the top 100 employers in the state of Washington. To be more specific, in 2010 and in 2011, PAML was the top employer.
That's impressive. What's your word, Lisa? Wowzers, or your daughter's word? After graduating from Eastern, Tom also went on to receive a PhD in biochemistry from Oregon State University in 1969 and postdoctoral training in clinical biochemistry at the State University of New York in 1971. However, Eagle Red still runs through his blood. It's a little bit of a pun considering his occupation, but it's in the script. Today, Tom's still very involved in Eastern. He's an advisory board member for the College of Science, Health, and Engineering and has supported EW scholarships through partnerships for more than 20 years. But his volunteerism has and does also include the board of directors for the Christ Clinic, president of Deacons at Knox Presbyterian, chairman for the Spokane American Heart Walk, Sacred Heart Medical Center Heart Follies, Ham on Regal, and chairman of Interfaith Hospitality. Friends and colleagues say he's kind, warm, brilliant, and a true leader. He epitomizes the values of education and service that define Eastern Washington University.
We could go on, but we want to see the video as much as you do. Let's learn more about this year's Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Dr. Thomas Tiffany.
Retirement is figuring out what your next career is. I had 4 excellent careers that I've talked about a little bit. So what's the 5th career? The 5th career is doing what I want to do on my time, and if I want to walk away from it, and they have some dollar resources behind you, so you can walk away from it. So I sit on 8 boards, half of them community boards, and 3 of them are commercial boards. And then I, of course, with the advisory board at Eastern, I'm on Christ Clinic's board of directors. Work with a neat program in North Central, the Institute of Science and Technology, where they're training kids in genomics, 4-year program. It's a beautiful program. I started college actually at Whitworth, and it got so expensive that I decided to go to Eastern. This was in 1961. And of course the tuitions then were $45 a quarter. Well, my professional experience since I left Eastern started with graduate school at Oregon State University. In 1971, I was offered a senior research position at Oak Ridge National Laboratory. And from there, came back to Spokane as a technical director for Pathology Associates. During that time, I helped start a small company. That company sold the Instrumentation Laboratory. I became R&D director of that. That company, Instrumentation Laboratory, was bought by a large company, and I got moved to Boston, whereupon I was lucky to find the job at Pathology Associates Medical Laboratory. Then that lab was owned by the clinical part was owned by Providence, and the sisters bought it, and so then I spent 25 years there. But in every situation, whether it was at Oak Ridge, whether it was at the Instrumentation Laboratory, or whether it was at PAML, or it's always about the team. In regards to significant awards that we received at PAML, the ones that were the most meaningful to me were the awards that had to do with the best companies to work for. Those awards required a survey of our employees. And first year we were recognized, we were within the top 100, but within 2 or 3 years we had managed to make it to the #1 company in the state of Washington. I was very proud of that, because that was, again, an award that was based on the employees' ranking of our company, not on what we thought of our company. We thought it was pretty special, but it was nice to know that the employees thought it was special too. My greatest wish, obviously, would be to continue success at PAML and Providence in the work that they're doing. Eastern has meant a lot to me. The preparation, the interaction we've been able to do over the years. We haven't even mentioned CERTI, things that Eastern and their outstanding role in CERTI and bringing that together. And it's just been a lot of fun working with Eastern and watching the university grow. What Eastern has done for the community and for the state, and I'm just proud to be part of that and to get this award.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in congratulating Dr. Tom Tiffany, this year's very deserving recipient of the EWU Alumni Association Lifetime Achievement Award.
Well, this is quite an honor, and to be here soaring with all your eagles, and essentially to be here with all the wonderful recipients tonight, and to hear of your excellent achievements, and it's awe-inspiring. My mother-in-law once said when she was some function where she was being awarded something, she said, after they went on about what she had done over her career, and she said, gee, I'd like to meet this person. So it's kind of hard when you have a lot of things that you do over the years to, suddenly have to remember them, and you just do them because they're a lot of fun. You got passion. The gentleman that couldn't be here tonight with the river, talking about the passion and cleaning up that river, those are exciting things. I've got to thank Cynthia Hamby for nominating me. I think that was, and then I have this stealth crew that went through my office and other things, and without my ever knowing it, until I got the phone call late in March when I was at a meeting downtown in one of my favorite haunts with some of my fellow folks. I got this phone call late on a Friday afternoon, and I was told that I got this award, and I said, well, certainly there had to be others, but anyway, I'm very happy with that. My son Mark Tiffany was here with his family, Marcella Apple, my daughter, Rosalie Allen, Chief Operating Officer of PAMA, that went into the files, and Kim Troyer and others. Just really appreciate your thoughtfulness in digging through all that dusty old stuff that was in the back closet. You found it, and so appreciate it. And I have a great crew out here. I don't know, nobody else has asked people to stand, but if you wouldn't mind, my crew, I've got my grandkids and that sort of thing. If you wouldn't mind standing, I know I'm the last act before we were here. Stand up here. That's the support team that means so much at this stage, and my wife, Marilyn, that stayed with me. And when I was moved from Spokane to Boston, and she said, don't worry, dear, you'll find a job. I said, oh yeah, Marilyn, they advertise in the Boston Globe every day for jobs in Spokane. But she was right. I had this wonderful job at Pathology Associates Medical Laboratory. So anyway, I don't want to go on and on, but Marilyn and I will be celebrating our 50th wedding anniversary in June. And, that's the secret of a long marriage, is do as you're told. So anyway, thank you very much, and I really appreciate this honor. Thank you, Eastern, Dr. A. Wherever you're going to go and whatever you do, my best to you, and God bless you all.
So the point of the story is, Friday afternoon, your cell phone rings and it says 359-4555. You want to answer it. Well, I'm going to go off script just a little bit, kind of share from my heart and say that, it has been a complete honor for both Cassie and I to work with all these alumni award winners. We aren't on the committee. We have an amazing committee, changes up every single year, but we too read through all the applications and then go to each other's office, and last year it was Aaliyah, and we say, I'm so glad we're not making these decisions. But it was an honor. I didn't get to sit in on all the videotaping. You saw 5 minutes from each person. We got to spend almost an hour with every person, getting to know their story, and you know, it's pretty amazing. And when I said that I have an amazing job, I really do. We get to hear stories all the time from alumni who are just a motivation and inspiration for our careers in what we do. So that being said, we did make it to the end. Some of you may have not thought we would, but wasn't it worth it? Congratulations again to all our alumni award winners, to our seniors who are graduating, to all of our volunteers that helped us with this process and helped us with tonight, our scholarship winners. I just want to say you're all truly awesome. And I know we thank New America Credit Union a ton, that they came on board with us when we started this 3 years ago, and they helped us realize kind of this vision of this amazing award ceremony. So I want to thank them again, as well as our Alumni Association Board, who helps make this better every single night. So, like I said, it's completely an honor, and I truly say that. If I didn't get a chance to talk to you or meet you, hopefully I'll catch up with you in the hallway. So, I think there was one other thing I was supposed to say. That's what happens when you go off script. Then you really have to look like there's a script by looking down and reading your script. Oh, I wanted to just recognize a few of our past, I think we have at least one past alumni award recipient in the room. I hope every year that continues to grow and they'll come. But I know Gordon's here, I'm not sure if somebody else is here. If you just stand really quick, everyone else has stood. Why not, right?
I'd also like to say congratulations to all of our award winners. We really want to thank you for continuing to use your education to improve the lives of others and for sharing the mission and spirit of Eastern in all that you do. And to those in the audience, thank you for joining us on this special evening.